Hi, welcome to the very first episode of Talk with Confidence. My name is Confidence Selime. I am your host, and this is where we have inspirational conversations with inspirational people. Today, my guest is a young man, well, a fairly young man, by the name of Zwalaike Z Shabangu. Z, welcome.
Thank you, Boza.
Thank you so much for coming, man. I want to start at the beginning.
Yes.
Who is Z Shabangu?
Z is a third-born son of four, born in Tutuza, two lovely parents. Both my parents are educators, and raised well and did all the things the young kid should do, and ended up working in advertising.
Yeah, man. One of the reasons I wanted you on this show is because you're a man who's making waves. Making big waves in the ad industry. You founded your own ad agency. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, the agency is called the Make Beautiful Agency.
Beautiful name.
Yes. And there's a whole story behind that.
Yeah. Share the story, man.
Look, the whole story is that I personally always like to work from attention. And attention that I saw in the work that I was seeing, the work that was being created, the advertising that was being, shown to the people, it was ugly, and it wasn't inspiring. It was just hard sell, and there's no storyline. There's a gag and then there's a big sell at the end. So we didn't like that formula, and we said, look, what is the opposite of ugly? It's beautiful. So we actually made it our mission to make beautiful work. And then we called it the Make Beautiful Agency.
Awesome, man. How old is the agency?
The agency is about a year and a bit, about a year and a half now.
Okay. Yes. Wonderful. I was doing some research on you, and I found something quite interesting. Yeah. I found that at the age of 25, you were already on the board of Ogilvy and Mather, which is one of the biggest ad agency groups in Africa.
Yes.
How did that happen?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I think at that time, obviously, Ogilvy Joburg was one of the most progressive agencies at the time. At age 25, nobody thinks that would be an honor bestowed upon them. But I was fortunate enough to be nominated into that board, and I think at that time, the agency was under the leadership of Sisnunu Chingila.
Yes, the legendary.
The legendary. Who's now the CEO of Facebook Africa. Yes. So with that kind of leadership, the agency kind of saw that, look, we need to add in some youth into the board. The board can't just be, old folk. We need some young energy, someone who thinks differently from us, and then I was chosen to be on the Johannesburg board, and I served there I think for a good 3 to 5 years.
Wonderful, man. I mean, interacting with people who are at that level, I'm sure you learned quite a bit.
I learned a massive lot, and you get to, as young people, because we're so driven and so passionate, we are results driven, but we forget that it takes time to achieve certain things. And I think that level of maturity, was bestowed upon me to say, absolutely, Z, that is also our goal. However, there's a process to these kind of things, But at the same time, I didn't let the process drag the speed to get to where we wanted to. So I think for me that the maturity came from that. And also just interaction with people at the senior level also opens doors for you. Oh, geez, if you can sit next to Nunu, then you can sit next to us.
Exactly.
So I really enjoyed that.
Wonderful. Well, that story, what I'm getting from it is that you were thrusted into leadership at an early age, and with you, having founded your agency, the Make Beautiful Agency, what are the leadership challenges that you face, heading up an agency, managing creatives, managing clients, all of those? What are some of the dynamics that you encounter?
I think the dynamics are mainly people, and I learned that when I became a creative director at Ogilvy and other agencies as well, is that your job is to manage people, is to manage time, personalities, and that goes both yours and the team,
and theirs,
and also your clients, and expectations from your clients. So those are the things that I got to learn. And also how to keep your teams inspired.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to keep creative people inspired. Because sometimes our ideas aren't bought, or we feel like they're being watered down. You know, how do you bring your team back up to say, no, don't worry, it's not your fault that this has happened. It's just that, you know, we're on a journey with this client. You will end up doing, you know, the kind of work that we want to do for this client. So again, that thing of massaging relationships, both internally with you know, you also need to deal with people like a head of strategy, head of client service, you know, who also have their own kind of deliverables, and you have yours. But what I started doing is to make it's all a deliverable. You know, and that's to do great work. Because nobody wants to do bad work.
Exactly.
So once you start galvanizing your team around one vision, then people stop seeing themselves as silos. Independent of, I gave them the brief. So everybody needs to be part of the process.
That's I love that, because, you know, leadership basically is about having a 360 view, because everybody is at 90 degrees and they're managing their own pocket. Exactly. So as a leader, you have to have the 360 view so that you know this works together with that. But also what I love, what you just said, is that conscientizing them to the fact that you're not working in isolation. What you're doing is impacting this and is impacting that. And at the end, if we do what we need to do, everybody wins. Everybody will look successful. You touched on inspiration. You said you need to keep your people inspired, especially creatives. What inspires you on a personal level?
Sure. I'm a people's person.
Man.
You know, people inspire me. Mostly black people. I think just our ability to create something out of nothing.
Man.
To create culture out of nothing. You know, there's words now like hip hop culture, pop culture, rap culture, art culture. You know, those things are born, intellect culture, those things are born of black people and Africanists. So for me, I'd say that's what inspires me.
Okay, awesome. I think you've touched on something that I want to dig a little deeper into. The ad agency, which is the sphere in which you operate, is predominantly white. Most of the agencies are global agencies, owned by, you know, global companies, and the hot topic in the ad industry, and I guess in a lot of other industries, is transformation. What is your view on transformation, specifically to the ad industry? How do you define it, and where do you think it's happening rapidly enough? What's your opinion?
Look, I've been in the game for 16 years, 16, 17, and from the day I started, you know, back in 2001 as an intern at Ogilvy, to where the industry, it's so weird. Like 5-10 years into my career, yes, there were a lot of us and doing well, and you know, there was a black creative director there, client service director there, creative group head there. But you look at the past 5 years, 7 years, there's a decline, and you ask yourself, but where are these people? You know what I mean? So there was a fantastic move where there was a lot of us, and all my friends, half my friends now have their own companies, because they just felt the system was suffocating them. You know, as much as you propelled and you grew, there was that kind of, but you were only allowed to grow this.
There's a ceiling.
There's that ceiling, and across males and females, worse so for females. And you know, a lot of us just felt like we can't. You can't live every day trying to prove yourself to someone else. You know, you need to live every day to prove yourself to yourself. And so to kind of indirectly answer your question, it started really well post 2001. And then just like I said, after 2010, I don't know what happened. And suddenly it's the buzzword. In my time, it was affirmative action. Now it's called transformation.
Transformation,
you see, they revive this thing every
10, 5 years,
It's in parts, it is happening. But what the big agencies fail to do is do it practically. I think the big agencies are very reactionary and to a very large extent very cunning into how they get their scores up. Having been part and sat in these high places, they have ways of massaging numbers and things like that, so that they can pitch for what you call government accounts. And government doesn't look, they just look at your
the paper,
They say, oh, well, they're level 1. Jesus, give these guys the IDC account. There you go, 300 million a year. So, and we're sitting and we know who runs the show. So,
exactly.
I'd say in parts, yes, but in larger parts, transformation is not working in our industry.
Do you think it's a matter of agencies or agencies not wanting to transform, or should there be a push to pressurize clients as well? Because if I'm an agency and I've been making X amount per year, and if I push this transformation thing, it may affect my numbers. It may affect whatever dynamics that I've been so comfortable with.
Yes.
Then maybe it's not in my favor to push transformation. Do you think then the conversation should also move more aggressively to clients? To say, you know what, do your research more and don't give the whole piece of the pie to the multinational. Seek out local agencies, black-owned agencies, and give them a piece of the pie. Do you think it should move towards that?
I think that aggressiveness needs to happen. Ultimately, clients decide who they award the brands to. And you know, you do get in pockets again. You know, clients who do that. Multi-choice being one of them. Who make sure that, you know, that big, beautiful multi-choice pie is shared. You know, I think about, you know, more than 50% of the work that we create is for multi-choice.
Wonderful.
Because they're intentional about it. You know, you get people who give lip service to those kind of things, but all they want, just put a black in my brand. It's not about. Whereas some brands actually say we want to grow, you know, black businesses. Therefore, make sure that when you get this brief or these briefs, this one gets done by this one gets done by this one, that are black owned. So for me, that's real. That's where the real change is going to come from. Because the agencies, like you said, they're too comfortable.
The status quo serves them.
Why should I get more black people? Literally, they say, I've heard them say that. Why should I get more black people? You know what I mean? So Thabo is enough. You know what I mean? And then Thabo is swamped. And then he's so swamped he starts dropping a ball or two. As with any human being. And then what does this review at the end of the year say? But dude, I mean, geez, remember that other brief you scored? So I think clients need to come into the party as well.
Awesome. And then from you working as a creative, a black creative in the agency, the current agency environment, you stepping out and starting your own thing. As the reception from clients, has it changed from Z, the ECD at Africa Red at Ogilvy, and then Z, the ECD at Make Beautiful? Has the reception changed?
It was a challenge at first because, you know, for some myopic arrogance I had actually. You know, I was arrogant. I thought, you know, and some of them did say, boy, open this thing, we're coming. And then they didn't. You know, started to do work for barbershop. But what needed to happen, and I've appreciated that, it's not like they didn't. So obviously these big accounts are contracted to whoever agency. But they also wanted to see, you know, because there's a lot of creatives that start things and and you're dealing with people's money.
Exactly. And people's brands, their livelihoods.
You know, their livelihoods. They've got KPIs that, you know, we don't even know about.
Yes.
So I think they just wanted to see, is he in it for the long haul?
Yes.
Or is this like an angry black kind of frustration?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciated as much as, only now actually I appreciate the pain.
After the fact.
After the fact, yes. Because I didn't see what they were trying to teach me. It's the value of business, the value of staying in business, even when you like, my landlord is literally knocking and I have no cent. So, I appreciated that, because now I walk in, it's like, yeah, there's our guy.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
And some of them have progressed to even higher positions, and you know, most others don't come up.
Yeah.
They don't come down up. They come up down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now they tell their people, you'll give that to Z.
Yeah.
So you see now, because they said no, this guy has.
He's got commitment.
He's got commitment.
Yeah.
Which is what relationships are about.
Yeah. You need to be committed, and the commitment breeds trust as well. Because if we're not committed, then I can trust you, because I've seen, or you know what, this is not a 100-meter sprint for you.
Yes,
it's a marathon. And we're chatting off a bit earlier about so many young people think that it's overnight. They think that, you know what, I'm gonna start my agency today, and tomorrow I'm gonna be billing 10 million a year, 100 million a year. And what I loved about what you said is that even on social media, I've read some of your posts. I follow you on social media actually. and you don't only share your successes, you also share your failures. Why do you think it's important to share not just the successes but the failures as well?
Because they go hand in hand, Mike. They go hand in hand. It's like you know, as a big football fan, you know, you win some games and you lose some games.
Yeah.
You know, and also I find our failures just remind us why we're in it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're winning, you kind of
as well, yeah.
But when you walk out of the presentation and you just got shot down, you know, and you're in the Uber with your team and you're down, and it's like you're like, guys. You know?
Yeah.
Actually, this means we need to do better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what failure means.
Yeah.
You just need to do better. You know?
There's a quote I love where it can take you 10 years to become an overnight success.
Boom. That's exactly what it is.
So the journey and the things that you learn along the journey are just preparing you for greater success. And what you're saying about failure, but you have to fail forward. So every failure is just a step that is getting you closer to your ultimate success, your ultimate goal. About 15 years ago, there was an agency called Head Boys, which was the prime black agency, and they had the blue chip clients. They were the agency that every young black creative looked up to.
Yeah.
Do you see your agency, the Make Beautiful agency, living up to that, exceeding that? Where do you see your agency in the next decade?
I think both Bravunza and Bob Happy were already legends when they started.
Yes.
And I'm not there yet. You know, maybe one day I'll say, no, now we are.
Even us.
But I think I'm not money like what they did, and at the time they did it.
At the time they did it.
So it was sexy to start a black.
Yeah.
Back then, that's funny. You know, back then it was unheard of. You know, if any, by any means that the imagination supported. So now there's tools and there's funding and there's this, and you know, the guys literally took their salaries and savings and started Head Boys. You know, I've read Brad Happy's book, and it's just like, wow. And I guess what's heartbreaking is that 15 years later, we don't have one of that magnitude. Yeah. You know what I mean? But on the other side of the scale, you know, I've got some really good friends of mine, you know, Bome Lucy, and who have their own shop. You've got Usbu Sitole, who's got Odd Number.
Yeah, I've heard about them,
You know, Festus, you know, he's got his own shop. You know, we are out there.
Yeah.
You know, we are out there, and a couple of other ones that I also can't remember top of my head. We are out there, and we we're competing at that level.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no like okay, I know it's funai in Komazi. You know, we want
the meat.
Yeah, we want the big cheese.
As well.
So I guess yeah. But we are building towards something solid. I don't think I want us to be like this massive conglomerate. You know, I'm a very compact dude.
Wonderful. You know, something I always ask myself about people who leave the cozy job, right? The comfort, the security to start their own. Do you, like the metaphor I have in my mind is you're on this big ship. Let's call it Ogilvy. So you're on this big ship. As you're on the ship, do you jump into the ocean and say, I'm going to start make beautiful? Or as you're on the ship, do you start building, make beautiful there? And then you slowly let it onto the water and then you jump onto the... I think
it's the latter. I think it would be foolish to dive into the ocean. I think you do start, and it starts in your brain, in your heart. Like, I can do this thing.
I can do
it. Because, you know, sometimes I don't like compliments, but sometimes they get to me. I'm like, no, man, this guy wouldn't be saying this if I was messing up.
Yeah, true.
And then it starts festering in your brain. And also I was getting older, you know. I'd hit 33 plus. And, you know, for a man, that's when you start really kind of like saying, hey, where am I going?
Where am I going? Yeah, definitely.
And words like legacy start popping up.
Yeah.
And that's when I started, you know, at when I was at Africa Red. I was like, you know, there's an opportunity for more growth. And for me, my king, I kid you not, it was about letting others in.
Yeah, man.
Our industry, not only is it elitist, it's very expensive. You know, to just get in as Mundo Sekas, it's just like, I mean, there's still kids, Kokasi today, who don't know about advertising.
Yeah.
You know, I went to a good school, but I still didn't know about copywriting. I didn't know there was a guy who writes ad. You know, so imagine kids that aren't going to good schools. So for me, it's about opening that door.
And you know what? It's very important what you're saying, because you find, especially in black households, where the kid is very, very gifted in terms of creativity, but the norm is, you know what, you can't make money drawing pretty pictures, you can't make money writing beautiful words, you need to become a lawyer, you need to become a doctor. In your own circumstance, were you encouraged? Were you supported in going the creative route, or were you also pushed to say, you know, nosy there?
I mean, I was fortunate for two reasons. Firstly, my marks allowed me the English shit. My maths marks were despicable. My science marks were despicable. But my English, you know, it baffled even my teachers.
Sure.
So. A car, like we were just encouraged to be whatever it is that you wanted to
wonderful,
be. You know, like,
wonderful.
And ironically, my parents are educators. You would think they say, no, go to this profession. No, there was none of that at home. It was about chase your passion, and you will find it, and you'll be great at it.
Wonderful.
And with all my brothers, you know, we were all allowed to go do what we do. And I guess it's also a challenge for our parents, you know, because of their background.
Yes,
you know?
definitely.
To say no, Fanegu there's something, you know, that in a degree in Nani. I mean, there's no degree in copyright. I didn't even study copyright. And I guess another thing I wanted to say is, when it comes to natural talent, parents should nurture it. There's a talk I give sometimes called "Profit from Your Talent." You know, because I'm saying to the kids, what is that you're good at? That you're better than the next person sitting next to you. Well, I can speak backwards. Okay, cool. Find a place, you know what I mean, that's gonna kind of like that talent or whatever. You know what I mean? Just something weird, or do you write better? Do you speak better? Do you sing better? Tinekas is kuluk na machita agro up begging.
Life.
You know what I mean? And that guy doesn't know he can be an art director. He can be an illustrator. You know what I mean? So,
he can become a millionaire of that talent.
Exactly. You know, before we go to try to illustrate our work.
I love that.
And illustrators get paid good money.
They do. It may be a a premature question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. You're, what, 36 years old now?
36 years.
You're a young man.
Fairly.
Fairly young man.
Like you said in the intro, fairly.
Fairly young man. I want to ask you this question. What do you want to be remembered for?
When I did something for the kids, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, geez, the less it is about me, the better. I think for me, it's just about, let's get the young black kids in, let's train them, let's grow them, you know, let's make them happy. Let's show them that yes, they're amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
Show them that it's possible.
It's possible. You know, too long, you know, the black child has been told how not good enough, how not fast enough, how not intelligent enough, how not beautiful enough. I want to eradicate all of that through the group of young people that I'm going to train and grow throughout my career until maybe one day when I retire.
Inspirational. Z, thank you so much for gracing us.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me. Cool.
That was inspirational. That was Z Shawangu. I'm your host, Confidence Limit. Thank you for watching Talk with Confidence. Join us again next time. Thank you so much.